All right, it's your boy KJ, the host of the Broadcast Podcast, SL Sports Language, give you the livest, latest news about sports. And let me put it to you like this. If you got an opinion, debate me about it. If you disagree with what I say, debate me about it. Hold on. If you don't like what I said, debate me about it! All right, speaking of debating me about it, put it in the comment section. Hold on, the comment section, like, comment, subscribe, so you can get your notifications and latest videos about sports on SL Sports Language. All right, y'all, we on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the love, the viewership, the clicks, the retweets, the liking my reels on Instagram. By the way, subscribe to SL Sports Language on my Instagram. And let's get it. So this video is gonna be up to date. Hold on, up to date. Yeah, that's right. KJ about the up to date, y'all. Now remember my last video. By the way, check that out. That video is nearly 200 views on my main man Shedeur Sanders, and he won't be around for too long. That video, Shedeur Sanders won't be around for too long. This is gonna be an up to date video about Shedeur Sanders. The news just came out that he's going to be a starter for the preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. Now, for one, this is news to me, and I'm pretty sure this is news to people up there in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, Akron, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. And for two, I feel like this is a setup. And for three, I feel like this is like a whole bunch of hype around a preseason game. So this video is going to be solely like opinionated. Let me give you rundown of facts. So of course, Shedeur Sanders getting drafted like the 141st pick. He was the 5th round draft pick. He was publicly humbled, humiliated. Pretty much the NFL and its owners came together and said, hey, listen, you don't run this league. You're not your daddy. Stop acting like your daddy. Stop with all that talking out the side of your neck. We're going to show you, since you want to act like that, especially at the draft combine, and we're going to make you sure you fall. And then Andrew Berry's the one who made the call to draft him, not Jimmy Haslam, the owner. He said it. If he would have got the call earlier that Friday, he would have said no. But since he has a certain team around him that he'll be with whatever they say, even though I feel like that's a bunch of BS, and he's pretty much giving the GM and the organization a heads up. If Shedeur Sanders don't plan out, we giving him the boot, because I didn't want to draft him anyway, which just shows you how the NFL was trying to make an example out of Shedeur Sanders. But he's right now going to be the starting quarterback for the preseason against the Panthers. And for one, I think this is a good thing. But then again, I feel like it's really nothing too special because it's the preseason. Now, this is going to be a big thing for Shedeur. You know what I mean? Because he's going to have to prove himself. He's going to have to showcase, this is why y'all drafted me. This is why y'all got me. This is why I'm going to be one of the best steals in the draft. Because you can get a steal in the draft. And for one, you can get a steal in the draft because they may be overlooked, underrated. For two, you can pay them for less once they become a superstar. That's until they start asking for more money depending on their contract. But you get a steal in the draft and you pay him for less, and he making a name for himself, and you helping your team win. I mean, that's a GM's dream. That's an owner's dream. And for three, he can really like get more minutes, whether it be off the bench or get more minutes or become a starter. So I feel like this preseason is a make or break. And then again, this is really just the preseason. You still got other quarterbacks that's going to play throughout that game. Yeah, you got the hoopla about him starting because his last name for one, and because how controversial his draft pick was. But with Shedeur Sanders being a starter, you're still going to have Kenny Pritchett that's going to play a couple of minutes. Joe Flacco that's going to play a couple of minutes. And my man, Daniel Gabriel, who's going to play for a couple of minutes. Now, here's what I don't understand. For one, I get the hype about him starting, but why start Shedeur Sanders? I don't understand. He's the 4th string quarterback. That don't make no sense. Shedeur Sanders as a 4th string should not be starting this game. He's the 4th string. Now, the question is, what may have caused the organization, the Cleveland Browns, to say, let's start him? I don't know. That's the $1 million question. And what are they trying to do? Where are they trying to go with this? Now, I feel like they're trying to set up Shedeur Sanders. Either set up Shedeur Sanders for success or set up Shedeur Sanders for failure. And here's why I say that. truly my opinion and my observation. Shedeur Sanders, for him to be the late round 5th 144th draft pick, for him to be publicly humiliated, publicly humbled, for the NFL to let him know your place, for the owner to say, I really didn't want to pick him. That was Andrew Berry's call, but I got a good organization, so I just roll with it. I feel like the Cleveland Browns are setting this up for one to use Sanders' name and likeness for ticket sales and for publicity, so they can get viewers, win or lose. And also, I feel like they're doing this, whether it be the ownership or Andrew Berry, but specifically, I think the ownership. I think this is coming from the higher ups, because the only person I would really advocate for Sanders to actually play for the Browns is Andrew Berry, because he's the one to make the call based on what Jimmy Haslam said. But who's to say? This is my conspiracy theory. Who's to say they like, okay, let's start Shedeur Sanders, and Jimmy Haslam probably sitting in the back like, all right, y'all start Shedeur Sanders, and if he does good, I'll roll with it. But if he does bad, this proves my point that I didn't want him. This proves the NFL point that he can't be a good quarterback or won't be a great future quarterback, and he's uncoachable, and he's not as talented as we think he is, because he had Travis Hunter to throw to. And this can be a make or break season for my main man Shedeur Sanders, to where either he becomes one of the greats or he becomes a journeyman. And it can happen, or it can happen at the same time, both. Think about Brent Favre. Brent Favre was nearly a journeyman. He was nearly the fourth string quarterback. He barely seen any playing time when he was playing, ironically, fun fact, with one of the best cornerbacks in the game, prime time, Deion Sanders, Neon Deion back then. You know what I mean? This before they had built that new stadium, which is now the old stadium, but this before they had built the Georgia Dome. This when the Falcons was the too legit to quit, the Dirty Birds. That's back when they had Andre Rison. And then when they traded Brent Favre, because they said Brent Favre was being lazy, or Brent Favre was drinking too many beers. But then on the other hand, Brent Favre felt like he wasn't getting enough playing time. He gets traded to the Green Bay Packers and then become a rising superstar at the Packers, right? And then Deion Sanders leave and go to the 49ers. You dig what I'm saying? For more money, because he felt like he was worth more money. So who's to say the same thing can happen to Shedeur Sanders? A late round draft pick. He doesn't do good, or the Browns don't give him a chance, which it look like they're going to give him a chance in the preseason. But like I said, I think this is a setup either for success or failure. You dig? And then who's to say, okay, during these preseason games, Shedeur Sanders doesn't do good to the owner's likeness, or to the coach's likeness, or to Andrew Berry's likeness, or the ownership and the culture comes down on Andrew Berry and be like, man, you did a horrible job by drafting him. Your job on the line. So now they be like I said in my last video, Andrew Berry can be like, it's either me or you. And I'm choosing me, because I'm going to keep my job. I'm not going to lose my job for you because you can't play, or you're not willing to listen, or you're not doing good. Or like I said, they may not try to, politic wise, they may not try to give my main man Shedeur Sanders a chance, which I'm saying it looks like they are. I don't want to sound contradicting. It looks like they are. So if these preseason games don't work out, or if he doesn't see barely any playing time based on how he plays in the preseason, if he doesn't do good, all the Cleveland Brown organization had to do was point at Shedeur. All the commentators had to do was point at Shedeur and be like, well, they gave you a chance, Shedeur. They let you start at preseason, Shedeur. It's you. It's not the organization. It's you and the way you carry yourself in the media. It's you and the way you play. You're not that talented. And then he gets the boot, right? Like a Brent Favre. Now he's a journeyman, which is a worst player's nightmare. But then who's to say a blessing comes up? He finds an organization that gives him a chance, that's willing to let him play the way he can play, and have a coaching staff that's built around his playing style, but also teaches him how to play better, teaches him how to run better, teaches him how to throw better, and become magnificent. Or he becomes a bust, or he becomes a laughingstock on the NFL, or he becomes one of those prime examples of being a child of one of the prominent Hall of Fame NFL superstars, but didn't amount to anything in the league himself. You dig what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from? So I feel like Shedeur Sanders, like I said, the Browns know what they're doing, because this is publicity. Because why would you start a fourth string? Now, I watch preseason games. I'm pretty sure my few viewers have watched preseason games. When have you heard a fourth string or alleged or fourth string quarterback who was drafted later in the round starting? That don't make no kind of sense. Or maybe it's something behind the scenes. Maybe Flacco Maybe they don't want to touch him just as of yet. Maybe he don't want to get as many snaps as of yet. Maybe they want to chill on Flacco for his snaps and be like, all right, since Flacco don't want to take too many snaps, let's use this as an opportunity to start my man Shedeur Sanders so he can get as many snaps right now, because he's not going to get as many snaps in the regular season. It can be like that. It can really be like that. They just don't want to say too much. They don't want to make it seem like they trying to put my man Flacco on ice until the regular season starts. Because who's going to start? It's not going to be Shedeur in the regular season. Shedeur's not going to start in the regular season. So that's why they got to start him in the preseason to sell tickets, to create a buzz and publicity. And also, if this goes wrong, they can point at Shedeur and be like, the ownership can point at the Shedeur and be like, I knew why I didn't want to draft you. And go to Andrew Berry and be like, see, I told you I didn't want to draft him. So the Stephen A's of the world. So the other commentators, Skip Bayless, broadcasters of the world can be like, see, I told y'all this kid wasn't ready for the league. He can't even play in preseason. And then that can incline to give the Browns more of a reason not to play Shedeur and give him the boot. Because if the owner don't want you and the GM is the one that drafted you, it's not the GM that's gonna keep your job. It's the ownership that's gonna be like, you know what, man, I'm not feeling it. Nah, dog, you gotta go. And I'll trade you myself. Because he owns the team. Now, yeah, are the GMs in charge of trading and acquiring and talking to free agents? Yes. But if the owner, come on, man. If the owner said it himself, I wouldn't have did that, or I wouldn't agree to that, to the Shedeur Sanders draft, or drafting him if they would have called me earlier. But hey, we here now. And, I have a good team around and I have a good organization. So I'm going to just go with their plan. That's translation for, if this doesn't work, he's getting the boot. So that's my take on this. I feel like this is going to be a great opportunity for Shedeur to really prove the doubters wrong, to really prove the haters wrong. But also, and I hope he watches this, to Shedeur Sanders, man. If you're seeing this, I'm not going to fake the funk. Am I a fan of yours? Not necessarily. Do I like your playing style? Not really. Do I think you a good player? Yes. Do I think you have great potential? Yes. Do I think the only reason why you got a name is because your last name is because you was coached by your dad, and if you was just a regular old Joe with a different last name, you wouldn't have been highly recruited? Yeah. Do I think you would have been able to start if it wasn't for your dad? Yeah, obviously. And hey, we can't knock the hustle, take advantage of the opportunities, but you have a potential, you know what I mean? Just carry yourself a certain way in the media. And I will say this, I don't want to come after another brother in the media. I don't want to knock another black man down in the media. So I do respect what you're doing in the community in Akron, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, especially after the incident to where you're giving back to the community after that whole debacle with the fire and the apartments being nearly burned down and a fire hazard, and a fire that happened in the apartment complex, if I'm not mistaken, in a low-income community. And what you did by giving back to the community, by doing a food truck, you know what I mean, giving people hope in that community, and I respect that. But Shedeur, you're gonna have to keep it up with the way you act in the media, on and off the field. No more throwing the team under the bus, even if the O-line is trash. Do not do that. Keep that in-house. Do not mess up team chemistry. Do not get a big head. You is not your father. It's you, Shedeur. You have to create your own legacy now as the quarterback. And, like I said before, just put in the work, take advantage of this moment. Or, if it doesn't work out, and if you do bad in these preseason games, or you be uncoachable, and you throw your teammates under the bus and talk bad in the media, you're not going to see no playing time. This can be a setup. They probably can set you up for your failure, to where the coaches and GM, and like I said, the GM, he probably happy that he's starting Shedeur, but the owner can probably in the back sniggling and giggling like, man, if this don't work, whatever, at least we're getting ticket sales. But if this don't work, this inclines. This is going to incline to more reason to give you the boot, to trade you, and why I didn't want to draft Shedeur Sanders in the first place as a quarterback, and why the other owners didn't want to draft him. And this is going to incline that, yeah, all the commentators and all the spectators of the world who didn't like Shedeur anyway, who didn't think he was a good player anyway, they're going to be like, see, I told you he wasn't ready. So like I said before, I believe the Cleveland Browns this is a setup, but it can also be a setup for success and also be a setup for a failure for him to start this preseason game. But we'll have to see come August 8th against the Carolina Panthers. And when I watch that game, I'm going to give my rundown, you know what I mean? And we can debate about it. like South Florida, we can hit about it, but on the internet, you dig what I'm saying? But it's your boy KJ, Broadcast Podcast, the host of Sports Language, SL, Sports Language, give you the livest, latest news and information about sports. And let me tell you this, if you got an opinion, debate me about it. If you disagree with what I say, debate me about it. Hold on. If you don't like what I said, debate me about it! Alright? Speaking of debate me about it, put it in the comment section. Hold on, comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me say this slowly. Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. We on the road to 1,000. Thank you for all the subscribers. Thank you for all the followers. And hey, check your boy out. God bless. Until next time. I'm out.